G'day guys, thank you for clicking on this video. So the purpose of this video is to address some of the issues I have been having when I'm drawing faces and heads. This one was kind of a special case because I started to indicate the values before I had even finished the rough sketch. I knew a huge focus was going to be the lighting, and so I decided to get it in early. I really like this one, which is probably obvious from the thumbnail. Most of these won't go beyond a value study, meaning black and white. And here I am playing nose surgeon for far too long. This one actually turned out okay as well, although I think it's a weaker drawing than the first one. However, because I went so dark on the values, that contrast really makes it pop. I've noticed that some of my other videos feel a little long, so for this video I'm trying not to spend more than 30 seconds on each drawing. My goal for this drawing was to take our beloved Princess Peach and mash her together with some figure drawing reference photos. The version on the left was actually pretty accurate to Princess Peach, but didn't have much personality from the figure reference photo. And so I took the initiative to make it worse by adding wonky eyes and messy values. Needless to say, I don't think I did Peach any favors on this one. This seemed like a good spot to have a go at some more expressive portraits shot from some more dramatic angles. Up until this point, and actually for a lot of the drawings that follow, they are very much structural studies and don't really have as much interest as these next two that I'm doing now. It's really fun drawing an upwards angle like this because I get to mess around with the proportions of the face a lot. So the mouth takes front and center and the ears go down but shrink away from the camera. And I think it makes quite a nice sketch actually, even though it's clearly very rough and the line work is not top notch. The left portrait, on the other hand, is supposed to represent the inverse, so with the head tilted forward. However, I clearly made some proportion errors here. I don't think the brow line is quite pushed up against the eyes enough, and I probably should have foreshortened the chin more. Coming up now are two of my favorite drawings. The left is my favorite sketch that I did of a female character, or female portrait, I guess. And on the right is my favorite portrait that I drew of a man. So I decided to put them together. Having them juxtaposed like this, supposedly the cream of the crop, I can see immediately that I'm far more comfortable with drawing females than I am with males currently. Although if I play a little devil's advocate to that point, the female character on the left is basically a straight profile and the male character is got quite a tricky angle on him, so maybe there's not so much discrepancy. I liked this female portrait enough to just leave it as a line drawing. Dipping back in to draw another male portrait, and this one was actually really tricky. You can see that I redraw it a number of times, and what I end up with is kind of structurally sound. He's a little funny looking, and certainly I don't think the hair makes a lot of sense. My biggest takeaway for this one is that he just looks like a twerp. And so I made it my mission to make this twerp a Megaman. And look, that's an experiment that we probably don't need to do again. He's certainly more man than Mega and still more twerp than anything. He did get the color treatment though, so that's something. Okay, so we're entering the discount bin of drawings with these next 5. I think I must have been running out of concentration while I was drawing these. Got a couple of terrible self-portraits in there though, and I'll just chuck those straight in the blender. So from this batch of portraits, I don't think I have been more disappointed than I have with this foreshortened sword lady. I just felt like I had all the pieces there to make a pretty good looking portrait, and then it fell apart right at the end. I think I should have leaned more into the stylized features of the sketch to the right there. I do like the blocky indication of a reflection in the sword, but I think my main issue was probably just going color when I was really only prepared for a value study. My mindset was get it done quick, and then once I started having some issues with color, I just gave up on it. That hand though, I'll take that hand every time. So this next portrait didn't actually start out that well. I remember being pretty despondent trying to get it to come together. But this was a good lesson for me about how really strong values can sort of bring your portrait together. By the end, I think it's probably one of the strongest drawings. It's probably not apparent from these time lapses, but to be honest, these realistic portraits were really kicking my buns. So I took a little bit of time to just remind myself that I can draw cartoony characters with a lot more ease, and it felt really good actually to do these tiny little portraits. Having freshly drawn some ultra stylized character portraits, I wanted to try my hand at a bit of a mid-ground. So for this portrait, I kept the exaggerated eyes and drew a smaller and more stylized nose. In particular, I tried not to rely on the connection between the bridge of the nose and the eyebrows. I also made a note for myself that parts in hair will usually show a lighter value. So for this last one, I'm going to break my quick drawing rule. This is really a message for anyone who managed to sit through the entire video. I never like doing self-portraits too much because it gives me a really good idea of just how big my schnoz is. And just there is a drastic change in proportions. That's me measuring the drawing that I had made against the reference image and realizing just how far off I am. Ordinarily, I wouldn't worry too much about it, but this isn't some fictional character, and having it not look like me would really undercut the whole purpose of it even being in this video. And there we have it. Thank you so much for watching.